Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This is going to be something entirely different to any content I have done before. Instead of a reading vlog, we're going to do what I'm going to call a watching vlog. So this vlog is going to be me kind of after this is going to be a video where I'm going to be talking about the Shadow and Bone TV show as I watch it. So I originally kind of wanted to do reactions to each episode, but things didn't work out, couldn't properly figure out how to do that. I mean, I know how to do that, but like, you get what I'm saying? That was my original intention, but then I'm also like, I kind of want to keep my original reactions to myself, but after each episode or so, I'm going to come on here, briefly talk about the episode probably in full spoilers, and like what I think is going to happen in the next episode. So like after episode 1, I will be like, oh, well, blank happened in episode 1 that either it was from the book, was it from the book, or like, especially something that this will be talking about is especially we'll be talking about the crows and how they come into play, because I'm like, I know the plot line-ish, because I'm like, obviously it's something to do with like, them needing to like kidnap Alina, but like, how is that gonna happen? I have so many things that I are in my brain, and I'm like, this is the outlet that I'm going to have. So it is currently 6:22 p.m. And for me, the show drops at 1 a.m. because I am Central Time, I think. And the show gets dropped at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm bad with time zones. So it'll be 1 a.m. for me, and I plan on watching these pretty much all night. What I'm going to be doing right now is there was a live stream that I think it was through Netflix Geeked that happened while I was at work. I'm going to watch that now, and it will contain 10 minutes of an episode, I think episode 1. So I'm going to watch that and then talk about that. It's to do with like behind the scenes, like, and all of that. And my camera battery's dying. I can see it on the reflection of my laptop. So that's kind of what's going to happen. I have no idea what my plan is for the evening before then, but I will update that. I will update you on what it is, and this I'm really just speaking for me, so if I decide to scrap this halfway through, that's what I do. So I just finished that like live stream thing, and I think it was maybe like a 10-minute clip, I completely sobbed 3 times over. 10 minutes sobbing 3 times. I literally am going to now keep track of every time I cried and every time I screamed. It looks so amazing. So amazing is the only word I can use to describe the show so far. It is 7:30 now. I have to edit a video, shower, and maybe take a nap. Once I get editing and showering done, I will decide, or make another cup of coffee and I don't know, but like, I can say this, based on a single 10-minute clip, this might be my all-time favorite show. Based on a 10-minute clip, but the actors and actresses have embodied these characters so much just in the mere 10 minutes that I saw. Like, I am in awe. That is the only thing I have to say. But I will film when I want to film. I am exhausted. I'm not physically exhausted, I'm just mentally exhausted. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this show is gonna be the death of me. So it is now 12:48 a.m. The show comes out in 12 minutes. I slept for like 2.5 hours, give or take. So like, I'm not that tired. I still might make a cup of coffee, but I'm not sure. Probably watch an episode and then see how I feel, because I probably might royally screw up my sleep schedule tonight. Because my goal is to watch at least 4 episodes, at least half the show. Like, that is my goal. I am trying to think what else I want to say. I have a bunch of snacks. I have donuts, I have goldfish crackers, I have chips and salsa I can eat, I have a bunch of snacks. Probably gonna eat so many snacks. I'm probably gonna stress eat, honestly. Like, I'm like stress eat, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen in this episode? What's gonna happen in the next episode? Literally, I'm like still just like, how is it for me technically the 23rd? I'm like, how is this show coming out in 10 minutes? I'm not gonna cry, but I will be keeping track of how many times I cry and how many times I scream. And I will update that number each episode. Be like, I cried like many times. I still have no idea how this video is gonna go. I just know that I am like so excited that I can't like even express how excited I am. It's what I am. And episodes are look, I'm literally shaking. I'm literally just looking at the like what are they called? Like these things, like you can like the things like the what are they called? I can't even think of the word, but like looking at those, I'm just like, ha. Like that's literally just my brain. I'm just like, okay. I'm going to shut off my light, watch the first episode, and then I'll go from there. I don't know how I'm doing this, but like. I'm trying not to cry. I also know this lighting's horrible, but I'm literally just trying to like hold back tears. So I'm gonna like literally see how many times I cry or scream. So far we're already at almost 1 crying. But yeah. So we're 1 episode in. And I don't have words to describe how I'm feeling. Like, awe is just the only thing, like, oh my gosh. So obviously we were right by like by guessing of like how the crows are going to be involved, is that they are being paid to find Alina. But again, I don't know how that's gonna play out, because like all of that. But like I did almost cry when the blast of light, we're gonna call it, occurred from Alina, because of the context of it, of how it was like, obviously just like the book, they got attacked in the fold, and it was that Mal almost died. Alina went over to make sure that he was alive, then got picked up by a Volcra, and then was still holding Mal's hand and kind of blew up. And I'm just like, okay, well, like, obviously I know that Mal is like an amplifier, so it makes sense that she's in this emotional state, like holding hands with an amplifier, powers go off on accident. but it was just so beautiful, like more beautiful than I could have imagined. Everything to do with Ketterdam and the crows, it was like exactly, I don't know, because like Ketterdam is like almost exactly how I imagined this very, I don't even know how to word it, but just it was like I imagined it, if not 1,000 times better. Same with Ravka, it's like how you imagine it, but like 100 times better. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. It's also almost 2 a.m. I'm debating making a cup of coffee. I think I might make a cup of coffee. No, that will really fuck up my sleep schedule. But I'm going to probably go grab something to eat because I am hungry. I ate one of my donuts while watching the first episode, but I'm gonna go like actually make something to eat, aka probably like a sandwich, and then start the next episode. So it's now 3:44 a.m. I watched episode 2 and episode 3, and like this is just going to be me over and over again, just being like, I am lost for words. I'm just gonna sound like a freaking broken record, but every single moment of these episodes I'm loving so much, and I am enjoying the like crows plotline more than I initially thought, because I was like skeptical of like how it was gonna work, because obviously everything from like for the TV show is not book stuff. So I was very like skeptical, but I like it. And in episode 3, there is literally a sentence that like I was like, I never thought I'd have to say, and that is Kaz holding a goat. That is something that like never thought I'd see or even imagine, and now I'm like, that was hilarious. And one thing that I do like is that the show did, it added this new piece of, it essentially would be kind of like technology of like engineering with a kind of like almost like a train that goes through the fold, that is like a secret thing that is like used by the person called a conductor to usually bring like Grisha families across so that they can like leave Ravka, hide, and like keep their families together so that their children don't have to like be a part of the Second Army or anything like that, which I like that aspect. And also that aspect had me nearly shitting my pants in fear, because obviously going through the fold, there's Volcra, all of that, but it caused us to have a really cool Jesper scene. So like, I'm good. I'm trying to think of other little things over the last 2 episodes to talk about, but like everything with like the little palace, and like the little palace is just seems so beautiful, and like, oh my gosh. One thing that I did like is Alina punching Zoya in the face. I was just like, I do love Zoya in the books, like especially in King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. But in the first book, I hated her. And like in the show, I'm like, okay, like remember, she just gets better, she's a little bit of an asshole at first, but like, who isn't? We also, in episode 3, had Nina introduced, which like, one of my favorite characters. So excited to see kind of like her little plot line, because her plot line is in in the show is her backstory in the book, which I'm really, really, really excited to see. I can't really think of anything else. I'm probably gonna watch one more episode. That would put me at like after 4:30 in the morning, and most of the time I'm asleep by like 1 a.m. and I am just I'm getting tired. I think I'm running on adrenaline. So after episode 4, I will kind of see how I feel. I'm so thankful that my work is closed tomorrow, so I don't need to go to work. So I can stay up all night watching this. And I know for a fact that probably as soon as I finish the show, I am going to be rewatching it. But yeah, I'm going to watch episode 4 and see how much more I love this book and see how much more I love this show. I did almost cry once when, I did almost cry once in episode 3 when Alina was in front of the king and queen, and it was like General Kirigan, the Darkling. My brain always just wants to go the Darkling. It's like, no, he's called General Kirigan in the show. But when General Kirigan kind of darkened the throne room and then Alina lit it up, I was just like, it was so gorgeous and exactly how I imagined it in the book, like to a T. And also in episode 3, right after that, Leigh Bardugo made a cameo as a Grisha, which I'm just like, that was so cute. Like, it was like, she was like a Grisha hugging Alina after everything, because all the Grisha were kind of like welcoming her and all of that. And I was just like, oh, that's so cute that Leigh made a little, like, appearance. But I'm going to watch episode 4 and continue to spew about how much I love this show. So it's now 4:46 a.m. I just finished episode 4 and I almost cried, I think like twice, because one was because of the line, "You and I are going to change the world." I didn't cry, but like I got teary-eyed because it was just like, that's such an iconic line, and just hearing it, even though we've heard it before, but like hearing it as it's happening in the storyline is so like, oh my gosh. And the second time was at the very end, when this entire episode has had kind of a overall like Mal was kind of like narrating like a letter to Alina, and at the very end of how, just at the very end, it was like Ferdinand's like soldiers were attacking Mal and 2 of his friends who were going on like, who volunteered for a tracking mission to find the stag, but then Ferdinand's soldiers attacked them, and literally when Mal, he got shot multiple times, started remembering a moment that like made me emotional, and then simultaneously Alina was kind of like, not over Mal, but kind of was realizing that like she was kind of doing everything so that she could get back to him, but kind of because their letters haven't been sent back and forth to them, they haven't been getting each other's letters, so she thinks that he just gave up on her, when in reality he is literally risking his life to find this stag so that he can go to the palace and see her. And it's just like, I had a feeling that the show was gonna do it, but like, I really like Mal in the show. I hate him in the books, but in the show, I think it is because we are seeing more of him and more of his personality and emotions that aren't from a limited perspective. Because obviously in the books, we're just seeing Mal from Alina's point of view and everything that she's kind of going through, versus the show, we're actually seeing Mal and like a little bit more of him. And I knew the show was gonna make me like a Mal stan, but I didn't expect it to be this much, where I was like halfway through the season and I was like, I really, really, really like him. I am really curious still on the Crow stuff about how they're currently trying to form a plan to sneak into the little palace to obviously like kidnap Alina. And I'm like, well, obviously this isn't gonna happen, so what is gonna be the turning point where they realize that it's not worth it, whether it be for the money, the sake of actually having a conscience? What is it going to be? Because obviously there's no way in hell the Crows are gonna actually get Alina, because like we need to be able to continue a plot with, like, we need to still be able to continue the Shadow and Bone plot. But I think is the thing I'm most curious about, as well as I am really enjoying Nina and Matthias's, I think, is that how you pronounce his name? That's how I'm pronouncing it. But I'm really enjoying Nina and Matthias's thing, because it's like, it's very limited, but every single scene we see is like one step closer to the inevitable, like all of that. And I'm just like, I feel like in the next episode is going to be, because obviously Nina and Matthias, they're like currently on like the boat because the Driscoll, I don't know how to actually pronounce that. The show pronounces it one way, my brain pronounces it another, so I'm like, Driscoll. I think it's actually pronounced Druskella or something like that, but Driscoll, that's how I'm pronouncing it. But the Driscoll obviously like kidnapped Nina because she's a Grisha and all that, and obviously we know that the boat is going to like try to topside and they're gonna end up in like the woods type thing. That's where we're at. It's 4:52. The sun is gonna be rising at like 5 something. I'd like to go to sleep before the sun rises, so I'm gonna call it a night. I'm probably gonna sleep till like, I don't know, maybe 10. I don't know. And then, yeah, and I'll have better lighting tomorrow, because I'm literally currently using my laptop screen and then my phone with its like flashlight on for lighting, because like, yeah, but I'm loving this. I wish I had enough energy to continue, but I just don't. So I'm going to go to bed. Probably no. It's like, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm probably gonna lay in bed for like an hour, just be like, what have I watched? Like, all of that. But yeah, I'm loving this. Like, 10 out of 10. One of the best shows I've watched. So it is 11:40. I just got up and made myself a coffee. Slept a little bit longer than I wanted to. I'm still tired because, like, it did take me like half an hour to an hour to fall asleep. I probably didn't fall asleep till close to 6. My dad walked in the middle of me filming that last clip, so I don't know where I left off. It is now 11:49. I am going to eat a little bit of breakfast, aka 2 oranges because I'm not that hungry, and watch episode 5. I'm sitting here like, I woke up about, I am not joking, about 10 times between like 6 a.m. when I fell asleep and like 11:30-ish when I woke up. Does that mean I only got like 5 hours of sleep? Yeah, I got like 5.5 hours of sleep. Normally I get a lot more, so I'm tired. But yeah. Ooh, I just remembered I have to print something off, so I'm gonna print that thing off, then watch the show. That sounds like a plan. And so I just watched episode 5, and holy shit, we have I can't speak, but we had Alina and General Kirigan have a few kisses, which, like, obviously we know that happened in the book, but I was still just, like, taken back. I was like, oh, okay. We had Inej kill somebody to save Kaz, which in that moment I was just like, oh, because it's a thing of how she's like, I don't kill, and then she kills to save Kaz, and I'm just like, yes. And then we have Alina escaping from General Kirigan with the help of Baghra, and, like, revealing that, like, obviously we know because of the book, like, General Kirigan created the Fold, is evil, and, like, all of that. And she escaped, but she literally fell right into the crow's hands by there was, like, a carriage. She got into, like, there was, like, a trunk type thing. She got into that, and then they left. So now the crows have Alina, but only just for nose. And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so curious to see how the next episode goes, but I have shit to do. I have to go grab a few things at the store, and I'm having a coffee with my dad, which, like, I need coffee, so, like, yeah, but, like, I have to sit on all of that. There was more things that happened, but, like, those are, like, the things that stood out to me. And, like, I love this show. I love this show. I love this show. Okay, so it's 2:33. I'm now back from coffee with my dad. I have a second cup of coffee. I have a Tim Hortons coffee. So, like, this is my drink. Apparently my Wi-Fi isn't on my computer. What the fluff? Well, I'll get that working, and then I'll watch the next episode, which is episode 6. Yes, episode 6. I had a brain fart on what episode I'm on. So yeah, I almost, like, still can't believe that I watched 5 episodes of this show. I'm just like, how? But yeah, that's a little update, and I'm so excited to see where this is gonna go. Like, the Crows have Alina. This is where it's really gonna go, like, off the rails from the books, because obviously it's very, very different. So it's now 3:34. I finished episode 6. We're going on to episode 7. I'm probably going to watch these last 2 episodes back to back immediately without doing something, like, without saying something, but I really, 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 like, let's restart this. I really like where everything is going. I'm absolutely loving Nina and Matthias's, like, plot so much. Like, I loved them in the books, and now I'm almost loving them even more in the show. I almost cried during, like, one of their scenes, because it was just so, like, heartfelt and cute, in my opinion. I'm trying to think, what else, like, right now we are hunting the stag. Like, Alina and Mal are trying to hunt the stag, and now General Kirigan and everyone is now hunting them to try to get to the stag before them, or to get a hold of them. And right now, at this point, I believe the Crows are now just trying to get back to Ketterdam. They're kind of not giving up on Alina, but they're like, they're not the only ones looking for her anymore, so I think they're giving up on that. I'm not sure though, 100%. Every single piece of this show is a masterpiece. I am not kidding. It is a masterpiece of a show, and I've said this before, but the cast is amazing. The casting was amazing. Everybody is portraying their characters exactly the way I imagine their characters. The characters' personalities, the characters' like mannerisms, and all of that are spot on to how I imagined it. Like, this is the best adaptation that I've ever watched, and it didn't even stick to the plot of the, like, it didn't, and it isn't technically book accurate because of the combining the two series and combining like the timelines type thing, but even then it's still the most accurate show, if you get what I'm saying. Even though the plot's not accurate, the characters and like the events are still accurate, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm probably just spewing things that you can't understand. My brain is like, there was a point that I literally was just like, at a scene, like it was in awe with it. But again, I'm gonna watch episode 7 and episode 8 back to back, just so that I can not be done with this show, but just so that I can watch them together and then give my final thoughts on the season. And I have already decided that pretty much as soon as I finish this season, I'm probably gonna immediately rewatch it, but pay more attention to details and do a more comprehensive, like, this is the plot, like write down notes, like that type of thing. I haven't decided if I'm 100% if I'm going to start that tonight or tomorrow, but definitely like over the next few days I'm going to try to do that. But I also have other things I need to do, so we'll just have to see. But literally I have been on the verge of tears this entire, like, especially all of episode 6. I was like, why do I just have this urge to cry? I have yet to like full on sob. I know for a fact as soon as the show's over, I'm going to sob, because I'm like, I'm gonna need more content. And like, I am sitting here like hoping and wishing and praying that Netflix renews this show for a season 2, because why not? It is so amazing. And yeah. So it is 5:17 and I have now finished the show. Technically I finished it about 5 minutes ago, but I had a little bit of a cry fest at the end. And I still feel like crying because everything was so beautiful. Essentially, I can't even really describe what happened because my brain is still like, just start crying. But I'm trying to figure out how to like brain it. I cried when the crows said no mourners, no funerals. I cried at that. I cried at the end, obviously. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how to describe my feelings and overall what happened in these last 2 episodes, because I am just like, so this is gonna be all over the place between episode 7 and 8. So the fold obviously expanded. The city, oh my god, my brain is brain farming the name, got destroyed because the fold expanded. The Darkling killed the stag, used the stag to kind of like how Lena has the collar in the books, did something similar, but he was able to use her abilities himself for the wrong purpose, obviously. But it didn't work out the way that he wanted. It's really hard to explain. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this, and I'm like, I don't know. The ending was really good. The ending was really good, and it sets up so much for a second season, because we have the last scene is because General Kerrigan ended up getting thrown off the sand skiff and taken by Volcra, but he survived. And literally the last word of the show is follow, with him leaving the fold. So obviously, like, there's that. Then with Alina, Mal, and the crows, that's the weirdest sentence to say. Like, oh yeah, those. So obviously, like, the crows were meant to like kidnap Alina and take her back to Ketterdam, but they don't. They let her go. Her and Mal go, and they're going somewhere. I don't know if they're going to go, because isn't it in the books? I can't remember where they go in the books. Oh my god, I'm brain farting everything from the books at this point. But they're going their separate ways. The crows are going back to Kirch, like back to Ketterdam, with a necklace that Alina had as kind of like collateral, being like, you keep it a secret that I'm alive, and this will be enough collateral to make up for the loss that you're losing 1,000,000 Krug. I'm pronouncing it fucking Krug. It's not Kruger. Where the fuck is the second R? I am sorry. That is one thing that pisses me off, though, is the way it is spelled Kruge, and it's pronounced with an extra R at the end. Where the fuck's the extra R? That's like the one thing that pisses me off, is that it's said not the way it looks. It would make sense if there was the extra R at the end, but there isn't. That is like my one complaint, is how one word is pronounced. One word being pronounced wrong, that is my only complaint. And also with the ending with Nina and Matthias, Nina kind of claimed that Matthias was like a slaver to get away from Grisha, that like the Grisha that was looking for her. So they're now going to Kirch as well, and that's the one storyline that is the most accurate from the books is Nina and Matthias. Besides the fact that the reason that Nina was in the location that she was when she got taken was because General Kurgan sent her, and instead of her just happening to be there. That is the only difference, really. Everything else is pretty much spot on, and I love that. And even though that, like, the other storylines aren't the same, it works so well that it feels like it should have, it doesn't feel out of place. Like the crows doing their thing, trying to like capture Alina and then eventually kind of helping her in the long run, it doesn't feel out of place like I thought it was, because I was like, oh, for example, the crows are going to be such a limited part, but they weren't. They had not quite as much equal screen time as Alina, but they had more than I thought. So that is what I love. I'm saying this for probably the umpteenth time, but the casting and the way these actors and actresses portray these characters, the way that everything looks, and the way that everything, even like every single little like audio meshed so well together. Every single scene felt necessary. The way that in the beginning of episode 7 we had a little bit of like a General Kurgan backstory when he first created the Fold, and that was really cool. What else is there that I want to discuss? My brain is just kind of going a million miles an hour because I still want to cry over this. It is so beautiful. It is so well composed, and just it ends off at a point where a season 2 needs to happen. Like, it needs to happen so bad. I am just trying to figure out what to say at this point. But again, every single little moment felt so right. This is one of the best shows that I have watched. I've watched a decent amount of TV, so I can claim this. But this is the best, like, quote unquote, like, fantasy show that I have watched. I think in forever it is the best book to TV show adaptation I have watched. Again, even though the Crow storyline isn't from the books, but the way the characters, it felt like them. It felt like something that could have happened. The way that there was little details that changed, but it changed for the better. This is going on way too long. I don't care. Overall, one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm trying to decide if I want to do a rewatch right away, honestly. Like, I am feeling every emotion, yet none at the same time. You get what I'm saying? It's like almost like I have an empty hole in my heart. And I am just praying that Netflix picks this up for a season 2. Because I am very curious on how a season 2 would go. My guess is it would be the Crow's ice court heist along with what happens in Siege and Storm. Like, so it would be the first Six of Crows book and then the second Shadow and Bone book, going back and forth in a timeline of that. Because that is the only way that I could see it portrayed. And I'm just sitting here like, I need a season 2. I need a season 2. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only one. Oh gosh, I'm tired. But I am going to leave this video here. There is so many other thoughts that I have, but I can't put it into words. So those I'm going to keep for myself. But I'm going to call this video done because I need to edit this immediately so I can upload for tomorrow. And I hope you enjoyed this very crazy, very hectic, very all over the place, very repetitive video. And bye!